Now, he's known, of course, for his extraordinary adventures, climbing Mount Everest to racing across Antarctica. And now Ben Fogle is taking his hit show Wild on a live tour, and he joins me now. It's so good to see you. And I do love these tours. You know, I've been to many of them where we just get a chance to hear you tell your stories.
Well, I've got 25 years of...
A lot of stories.
Of stories, and not just my own. I started doing a bit of touring just before lockdown.
Right.
And I shared the stories of Everest and rowing the Atlantic. And then, obviously, the last 15 years, I've been making a series for Channel 5 called New Lives in the Wild. And I've met so many people who've dropped out of kind of society as we know it to live an off-grid life. And I get asked by people all the time, how can we do it? What do you need in order to change your life up? And I wanted to put all that together and bring together a stage production that's kind of full of sunshine and hope and positivity and light and funny anecdotes and behind-the-scenes stories. And so I put it all together, and I had a leg of the tour last year that was full sell-out, and so due to popular demand, I bring it back next March.
Oh, that's good. And I think people do want to see that. You know, they want to be given hope. You know, we live in troubled times, and it's really good to see that. Do you have, in all of your wanderings, and you've wandered a lot, is there one place, if I said to you, you can only go back to one place, what would it be?
Oh, that's
really hard,
Well,
right?
do you know what? I mean, the honest answer would probably be the Western Isles of Scotland, which is where it all began.
It did, of course.
You know, 25 years ago that I was cast away onto Tarrant. And actually, for the last couple of years, I've made a series for the BBC called Sacred Islands, where I went to visit the Inner Hebrides, Outer Hebrides, Shetland, Orkney.
Beautiful.
And I still love that part of the world. I think it's exciting, it's moving, it's dramatic. And for me, it's the place that I hope I'll return to one day. My late grandfather, actually, who was Canadian, was actually Scottish-born, and so I've got lots of heritage from Scotland, and I visited the islands when I was a very small boy. So I think it's kind of part of my DNA in many
I get
ways.
that completely. I mean, if I could move to Orkney, I would, and I will at one point. I think I will, because it is just, I don't know, there's just something about, you know, when you do that, and it's like, yes. This is where I'm supposed to be.
I think it's the complete opposite of everything that we have in cities and urban life back on mainland Britain. And for me, I've explored a lot about kind of our relationship with the wild, and that's what the tour is really about.
Of course.
And we often talk about rewilding our landscapes. We talk about trying to bring back the lost flora and fauna, but actually we haven't really started talking about rewilding ourselves. And we talk about the disconnect that so many people have with nature and the natural world. But over the last 25 years, I've really explored that, you know, in extreme levels by climbing Everest and kind of exploring my relationship with the wider world, exploring mortality, all of these big topics that we try to abstain from. And I think when you have properly immersed yourself in the natural world, you start to understand yourself a bit more, and that's what I do certainly with the tour that I'm taking on the road next March. No,
it sounds brilliant. It really does. And you have met so many interesting people, including royalty, it has to be said. Met them in Africa. In Botswana is amazing, isn't it? It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And you got recognised, didn't you? And that fella beside you didn't. Which is hilarious.
You know, it's a little anecdote I shared the other day.
It's so funny.
Well, I think, as you'll know, a lot of TV shows made in the UK get shown all around the world. And I turn up in some countries I've never been to before, and I'm more famous there than I am here, which still I find very strange. But I was in Botswana making a film about conservation work with Princes William and Harry a number of years ago now, and a guide of ours rushed up to all three of us and said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're here." And I was assuming he was talking to one of the princes.
Well, all
and he had recognised me, so I obviously felt rather proud and thought he was going to say that he recognised me from my Rowing the Atlantic show, one of the hundreds of shows I've done over the years. And he said, Your show, Cash in the Attic, is my favourite. I hosted Cash in the Attic many years ago, and a great experience, but maybe not the one that
Yes.
I expected to be recognised from
absolutely.
out in Botswana.
Oh no, it's such a beautiful, beautiful country. I was lucky to meet David Attenborough, Sir David Attenborough, and I've got a photo of me and Sir David Attenborough, and I show it to everybody in Africa, and they treat me like Princess Lorraine, because he's like a god. And now you, with Cash in the Attic, I can tell them that as well, which is great. I shall take a photo of us both and keep it for me when I go back to Africa. Thank you, Ben, and good luck with the tour. When does it start? You told me.
The tour starts in March. All details on my Instagram account and online.
Excellent. And it's a night where you'll skip out feeling better about the world.
I think you'll leave feeling uplifted and positive in a heavy world.
Exactly. And uplifted and positive is how we all felt when we saw your thighs. Thank you for that. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Because, only because, Ben Fogle, this is not gratuitous.
Yes.
It's because you're ahead of the curve when it comes to fashion, because everybody is wearing them now. Everybody.
Do you know what? I put trousers on in honour of coming on to the television today with you. The shorts come on when I get back into the dressing room.
Well, you're ahead of everyone, even Paul Mescal, the gladiator, everybody else. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.